Hey there and welcome back to Mutant Year Zero. My name is Pete and today we complete another episode of our Iron Mutant playthrough. In the last video we did not really make that much progress story-wise, but we took a closer look at some of the strategic intricacies of the game as we continued our search for Hammon, who is still missing from the Ark. Today we will check out the Sea Titans and see where that leads us, and having already upgraded our ancient pistol to level 3, we are well prepared for the journey, so let's head back out into the zone. And like I said last time, this is a fairly large map on which we want to explore the right side here first.
Hammon told me he wanted to cross a big body of water to get to a place called the House of Bones. He said the crash site was near there. I wonder what this might hold.
Okay, here we have another piece of equipment, the Fertility Crown, which gives a 20% increase to critical hit chance when hidden. As you can imagine, this is extremely useful for our mostly stealthy approach to combat, and so we are giving this one to Dux. Yes, this means he'll lose some range as we get rid of the snazzy visor, but we do not desperately need that at the moment, and later on we can also unlock a mutation with him that increases his range again. Following that, we can now collect more scrap and then find another note near a makeshift campsite over here. This one was written by fellow Stalker Anton, who points out the location of an artifact in the old palace east of the House of Bones. So that is definitely a location where we want to keep our eyes open. For the moment though, we can keep moving.
I keep looking for dead duck bodies, but I never see one. Are we the only mutants in the zone?
You're right. There are no mutants in the zone. I've been checking bodies ever since you mentioned it.
Down the stairs and to the left we find some weapon parts as well as a gate, but as you can see we need a key to get through.
It's Judgment Day, sinners. Obey me, and your soul will be saved.
Ah! Making my head spin. Did you hear that? I heard the same voices when me and Hammon got ambushed.
Alright, seems like we might be about to encounter some of Hammon's captors. First of all though, we can read another note. This one appears to have been written in the old times, and it tells of a family's struggles to get to safety with the plague spiraling out of control.
Ghouls popping up everywhere.
Check that guy out. You see him? Head like an infected mushroom. You think he's leading the ghouls?
Wait a minute. That's the guy who attacked me and Hammon. I think Hammon recognized him, but that was the last thing I remember.
He's one of the Nova Sect. I heard stories about them. Bogeymen with big heads. Didn't think they were real. Bet he's real enough to take a bullet, though.
Okay, so we are apparently dealing with the Nova Sect, not just with simple unorganized ghouls, and we have also just found another note, this time from Stalker Kalle, who mentions the lair of the Horned Devil, as well as the dangers that we might encounter there, but also the chance to maybe acquire another artifact. In any case, let's make a mental note and move on.
Holy ancient power, feel my words inside you, taking control.
And here we have our first enemy, a lone Marauder with only 8 hit points, absolutely no threat to us.
Now it's getting fun.
The knockback effect on the ancient pistol does trigger though, so Borman needs to move up a bit.
And stay down.
That was awesome. Over here.
Moving on, we want to head right and up the stairs to take out more enemies before attacking the main group.
Your thoughts are sinful. Give me your brain, so I may lead you into salvation. Ah! My head hurts. These brain boys keep talking. Shut them out! Get them brain boys out my head! Suck it up, ghoul! When the masters find the secret numbers, the zone will be cleansed! Cleansing better get here soon. Talking in my skull is making me crazy.
And yes, it looks like the Nova Sect are a different bunch of enemies, seemingly a bit more powerful than regular ghouls, of which we have one over here that we can swiftly eliminate.
Oh, I'm so good. Regroup.
So good indeed that Fertility Crown and a 45% critical hit chance from hiding are certainly paying off for Dux.
Does that hurt?
And that is another critical, no knockback this time though. Still, Borman and Salma will both have to come a little closer for guaranteed hits.
Want some more?
Serves you right!
Got that, Rodhead. Nice.
And there's another level up that we can't do much with, unlike the Ancient Eye scope over here, which gives a further 10% critical hit chance bonus, so definitely something we want to keep in mind for someone like Dux, for example.
This is the boat? What an incredible piece of junk. At least it floats, right?
Gather on the ship, my children. Your destiny awaits. We believe, Reverend. We believe. Yeah! Hear my voice within your heads. The Ark calls you ghouls, but you are beautiful. You are children of the ancients. Smite the unbelievers! Destroy the Ark! Ah! Yeah! Yeah!
Right, so we have snuck our way onto the ship, which is, by the way, our means of traversing the body of water and following in Hammon's footsteps, but as you can see, we have another Sect Butcher to take out first.
Yeah.
Not too shabby.
Now, the ship holds a ton of stuff and is definitely the most important place to loot on this map. Not only can we find a lot of scrap on it, but over here on the right, on the dead body, we can also collect the evac control key for that gate we saw earlier. A little further up ahead, we can also grab the power brick artifact, and I want to direct your attention to the name at the end here, where it says Chronicler Bodin. And Bodin, that is actually also the name of the Nova Sect leader in this area. I think that is hardly a coincidence.
Hey, I've seen these before. You need to lick the top to see if it still works.
The ancients used these to run lights and machines. Prip will give us a good deal on this one. It still holds power.
Dux, don't play with that thing. We're bringing it back to prep.
Look, I can't feel my tongue. Hey, it's not funny.
And here we have another Sect Butcher to take out. Nothing spectacular so far.
Bye-bye.
And Dux delivers with yet another critical hit for the instant kill, and we actually also gain another level, and this time we want to use it. By the way, the reason I have not gone into too much detail about choosing one mutation over the other is that we can actually choose all mutations without having to make sacrifices, so don't worry, you won't miss out on anything. For now, we can grab Frog Legs with Salma, not necessarily because the ability itself is super useful, at least not right away, but because it clears the path to some really powerful ones. Now, moving on, we want to take a note of the Marauder patrolling on the right, as that is one of our next targets. If you're lucky, you can actually sneak out of the ship on the right and just squeeze through without being detected, but that is very risky, so we'll play it a little safer. Instead, we can loop around from the left side, which actually brings us into striking distance with the Pyro, who happens to be just outside of the sight radius of his two allies, at least as long as Bodin, who is doing a little patrol routine, has his head turned the other way. Now, 16 points of damage are exactly the amount we can deal silently thanks to the level 3 upgrade last episode, but we can't have any knockback to avoid detection, so Dux has to shoot last. The critical from Selma is a nice bonus, but again not really needed to win this fight.
What you got?
Serves you right.
Not too shabby.
Okay, back me up.
And yes, despite setting half of the enemy camp on fire, no one seems to be concerned about our presence, and as Brother Bodin comes back around, we have already looted the pyro and are long gone. And like I said, our next target is now the Marauder, and after that we only have Bodin and his Sect Hunter companion left.
I'm the death-dealing, soul-stealing, stalking machine, baby.
Okay, so while we grab some loot here, let's talk strategy. Now normally, Bodin and the Hunter are both patrolling the area, which would allow us to pick them off one after the other. For some reason, the Hunter's patrol routine did not trigger though, which actually happens quite frequently on this map for some reason. In any case, he remains stationary. Now, that is not a huge problem, but it calls for a slight change of plans, which also includes a quick trip back to the Ark and to Prip's place.
Pull up a stool, Stalkers.
Right, so with 2 more artifacts collected, we can now unlock the next tier of upgrades. Medic increases the potency of medkits, which we hopefully won't need for a while, Blaster Master doubles the damage output of grenades, and Technophobe gives a higher crit chance against robots. And Blaster Master is the one we're going with, as 8 points of damage from a single grenade is quite substantial, and enough to deal with these last 2 enemies easily.
Till next time.
We can also prepare our squad for the fight ahead by giving grenades to Dux and Selma. Borman will not need one, as he is going to hog rush Bodin. And you know, while we're back at the Ark, a visit to the Elder can't hurt either.
I trust in you, my brave Stalkers. I know you will find Hammon. But I regret, this search is taking longer than we anticipated. You're going deeper into the zone, farther than you have ever been. This exploration may lead to questions. Questions poison the mind. Keep your mind on the mission, and you will prevail. Good luck. The Ark thanks you for your service. Be well.
Alright, so it's time to return to the Sea Titans with a rather easy plan. 2 grenades or 1 grenade and a critical hit from Dux will be enough to take out the Sect Hunter, while Borman's Hog Rush can incapacitate Bodin, and that should give us enough time to take him out, despite 26 hit points and 2 points of armor.
Obey me. Obey me.
As you can see though, all of our careful planning won't even be needed. Going back to the Ark and returning was apparently enough to get the Sect Hunter moving, so our last 2 enemies are now nicely isolated from each other. And as you saw with the Pyro earlier, the Hunter's 16 hit points will be no trouble for us. So let's sneak up and get ourselves another kill.
Does that hurt?
And Dux seems to be on an absolute roll here at the moment, landing another critical, so Borman and Selma can now take care of the rest.
That was awesome.
Get over here.
Another level up is gained, but again we can't do much with it, so instead let's grab the loot and finally engage Brother Bodin. And this time knocking him back won't be an issue, so Dux can go first.
I did that. What do you think about that, huh?
And yes, that is another critical. I think it's safe to say that new hat of his is working. Salma also sets Bodin on fire, and now Borman can use Hog Rush to stun him.
Want some more?
We are also using the Gaper here for maximum damage, although with Bodin incapacitated for this and the following turn, I don't even think that's necessary. After Salma's hit, Bodin is now left with 6 hit points, normally enough for ducks, but not if the enemy has armor. However, like I said, we have another turn here, so there is no need to worry.
Regroup.
Let me ask you something. Out of all the dead bodies you've seen in the zone, any of them ever look like us? Like mutants?
Nah, and I've been looking. No skulls like mine, no skulls like Borman's. I don't think I've seen any with little horns on their head. That's kind of weird, right, Borman? Kind of makes you want to talk about it, right?
There are no mutants outside the Ark except us. The Elder told us a bunch of times.
No matter how deep into the zone Hammon traveled, he never saw a trace of us, of mutants. Guess we should feel special or something?
Selma, you're tough enough to resist the rot, and smart enough to keep the ghouls at bay. You're pretty special in my book. Now everybody, shut the fuck up!
Bingo! Now for the fun stuff.
Alright, we have used a lengthy conversation to loot the previously locked pier, and we have found another pyro armor. Since this is a straight upgrade over the regular Stalker vest, we can give it to Salma, who is now also fireproof, although I don't think that will come into play anytime soon. And that's pretty much it. The map has now been thoroughly cleared, so let's make our way back over to the ship, which, if what Salma said at the beginning of the mission is true, was also used by Hammon to get to the House of Bones, a place near the crash site he planned to investigate. Whether or not Hammon and the rest of his crew actually made it past the ghouls and the Nova Sect, that remains unclear for now, but I'm sure we'll find out pretty soon. And here we are, we have finally made it to the House of Bones. The first area here does not hold a ton of loot, but a few things of value can be found.
I didn't catch what you were saying back there, Selma. Where was Hammon going?
The House of Bones. We're almost there.
And why, pray tell, do they call it the House of Bones?
It's a big house full of dead people.
Oh, fantastic. Borman, don't lie to me. You do not want to be doing this right now.
What I want and what I need are two different things. We need to find Hammon, so shut up and get your head in the game.
A pile of scrap and some weapon parts and we're good to go. A fence is still in our way, but there is a conveniently placed gate, as well as another note. Here we can read about how that whole plague thing escalated to the point where trespassers into the next area were shot on sight, and I will be honest, playing this game during a pandemic certainly feels a little weird to say the least.
So cold up in these parts I can't feel my beak.
Yeah, I've never been this far north before. I feel cold to the bone.
Now there is a path going down to the right, but we're taking the left one instead, which brings us much closer to the actual House of Bones.
This is it. The House of Bones. See this symbol on the signs? Means danger.
And danger is approaching, albeit not the serious kind, just a single sect butcher. Still, this confirms that our enemies have reached this place as well, which is certainly concerning.
Smart, don't it?
By the way, this is ghoul number 36 that we kill in this playthrough. 4 more and we unlock another achievement.
Serves you right!
Sorry about that.
Not too shabby.
And here we go, we have gained another level, and this one is interesting for Borman. He now has enough points to unlock Stone Skin, a mutation that makes him invincible for 1 turn. Sounds as straightforward as it is, and certainly has plenty of uses if things get dicey.
That building there? The House of Bones. It was a fortress full of tiny flesh-eating monsters called Students. We came here every day to learn how to become bigger monsters. Now you hear the story. I don't hear the story, I see the story. I went inside and I saw all these drawings of monsters and flying machines and gross stuff, scary stuff.
And after that lovely conversation, we can now keep exploring. Eventually we'll reach the area that we would have started in had we taken the stairs down to the right at the beginning.
Yeah, that's why they call it the House of Bones.
And yeah, lots of dead people on the ground here. Let's hope that our squad does not join them.
Holy Ancient's power! Do you feel it? Let us now gather at the sacred site for the ritual sacrifice.
Okay, so a sacrifice is planned. That sounds like something we might want to stop, just like another butcher over here.
Feel that?
I owe you a grog. That was amazing.
Now, we can grab the loot from the butcher, but we won't actually continue down this way. Instead, we can check out some ruins a little further to the right, which hold a few more goodies. They are also a location that is frequently visited by a patrolling Marauder, so let's just sit tight for a few seconds and wait for them, and with that ghoul kill number 38 to come a bit closer. And with 12 hit points, the fight here will likely be very similar to the ones against the two butchers earlier.
All you got?
Yeah!
Nighty-night.
Not too shabby.
The fallen machine did not contain the sacred numbers. But fear not, my children. The machine led a stalker to us. A smart stalker whose mind holds the secrets we need. The smart stalker will show us where the sacred numbers are kept. Yay! Yeah! Tonight, we will sacrifice his companion's life. The Ark has spilled our blood. Tonight, we spill their blood. A stalker who hunts my children. Now, he is the hunted. He is the sacrifice.
What's with the hieroglyphics here? Is this an army of midgets? I don't get it.
Alright, so the sacrifice apparently includes one of our own. One more reason to intervene, I'd say. Whether that captured Stalker is indeed Hammon himself or one of his team members, that remains to be seen. I think it is our duty to rescue them in either case. For now though, let's sneak into the school's top floor undetected.
Why do we have to stay and watch the ugly Ark, man? They can't keep us here. I want to party too.
Yeah, we party. We can party on this man's face. Cut it real quick.
Wouldn't make his face uglier, would it? This man fell out of the ugly tree and hit every branch on the way down.
That's ugly. Ugly Ark, man.
Okay, at this point it definitely pays off to be able to do 16 points of damage silently, which means we can take out the Pyro and the Hunter without alerting anyone.
Yeah.
The Pyro is up first and actually gets knocked back by ducks, but the Hunter doesn't have line of sight anyway, so we can safely move up and finish the job.
What you got?
Serves you right!
That was awesome.
And once again, a very noisy silent kill here, but it gains us another level, and this time it's Dux's turn. With him we can grab Alpinist for a massive 50% crit chance bonus when he shoots from high ground, combine that with the bonus from his hat, and he suddenly becomes much more dangerous when attacking from above.
Get over here.
The Sect Hunter is now nothing special. Yes, they are standing directly above the two enemies at the front door, but as long as no one has line of sight, we can safely attack. And that's another critical, this time from Selma, who at least has a 20% chance when she's hidden. Not too reliable, but it does trigger often enough.
Stone cold.
And that was actually ghoul kill number 40, meaning we have just unlocked the Take Out the Zone Trash achievement.
Let's get this open.
And that's another weapon for us, the Boomstick Shotgun. With 8 points of damage at level 1, this thing definitely packs a punch, so we want to equip it right away, at least as a secondary weapon. It is of course not silent. And I think we'll give this to Selma to replace her scattergun, which has now become properly obsolete. Whether or not it stays with her for the foreseeable future, that is still unclear, but at least for now it is a good backup choice for the character that arguably needs it most. Now, thankfully, these were the only two enemies inside the school, which means we can now take our time to clear out the place. The first floor does not hold too much of value, but searching the ground floor is a bit more lucrative and also yields another artifact. Interestingly enough, this one is also described by chronicler Bodin, which might indicate that this individual once worked with the Stalkers and not against them.
Defibrillator. There's instructions to use this on somebody who's lying down. Maybe something to aid sleep or to relax.
This sounds relaxing. Maybe I'll use it to unwind when I get back to the Ark.
With the school fully cleared, we can now engage the two ghouls outside, and going into combat here is actually very useful, as it allows us to hop through the windows, something we would not be able to do by just moving our characters around outside of combat.
That had to hurt.
And this is, in my opinion, by far the easiest way to leave the school, as these two are normally standing right in front of the entrance door, so that way is a no-go as long as they're still alive. You could of course also take them out first and work your way up, but in my experience that includes a bit of backtracking, which I like to avoid, especially on maps of this size.
You did good.
Over here.
Alright, now this level up we'll just ignore for now. There is still a Marauder to take care of after all.
Today, Dickwite.
And with only one hit point left and the Marauder on fire, we can end our turn here. The flames will do the rest. So, the school is now cleared, which means only the enemies planning the sacrifice of our fellow Stalker are still alive. By the way, there is an exit to this map over here in the northwest corner, but it will take a few more moments until we can use that.
Hey, follow me.
Loot-wise, there is nothing up here, but the next enemy is very close by. Now, at this point, we want to give Dux another chem flare and also equip his recently unlocked circuit breaker mutation. After all, we can only use one major, one minor and one passive mutation, and occasionally we have to switch them around. Just like in the Cave of Fear, the chem flare is then the first thing we throw, and again the medbot does not seem to mind at all, so we can quickly hop in and out of combat to reset our actions. And landing guaranteed hits is now not that difficult with the chem flare lighting things up. The real reason we used it, however, is the Circuit Breaker, which, like many other abilities, comes with a 25% aim penalty. The Chem Flare negates that, allowing Dux to disable the Madbot for one turn with no risks attached.
Oh, does that hurt?
And as you can imagine, the rest of the fight will now be easy. The knockback here does not get us into trouble just yet, but we are nearing the final encounter, so we should be careful.
Regroup.
Next to the ambulance, we can grab some weapon parts, and then it's time to slowly engage the final group of enemies. The Pyro is up first, but we want to make absolutely sure that Brother Skog and the Hunter are looking away, otherwise this could get ugly. Here you can see it again, both Skog and the Hunter have their backs turned, and they're far enough away as well, so if we take out the Pyro silently, they won't notice a thing.
Some more?
And the process here is once again rather straightforward. 16 hit points simply means that we have to shoot 3 times.
You're earning your scrap, kid.
Okay, back me up.
Up next is the Sect Hunter, and we are using the fact that Brother Skog is patrolling around to our advantage here. For the time being, Skog and the Hunter are still standing together, but in a moment Skog will continue moving, and as soon as he's out of earshot and has his back turned, we can strike. And yes, I realize that the actual fighting might start to get a bit repetitive at this point. After all, we are just moving and shooting 100%ers again and again, but trust me, things will get a bit more complicated soon. Still, especially if you're used to games like XCOM, it takes a while to get accustomed to the fact that the core challenge of this game are the decisions you make before combat takes place, to avoid making tough calls during the fight.
I'm the death-dealing, soul-stealing, stalking machine, baby.
And yes, you have probably guessed it already, the Sect Butcher is enemy number 3 on our hit list, and we arrived just in time, with Skog nearby but not too close, and once again turned away from our victim.
What's up?
All you got?
Gotcha.
Not too shabby.
Another level up, and we also don't want to overlook the EMP grenade in the corner here. Our main focus at this point though is Brother Skog, who is now all on his own. And to start things off, we can actually proceed as usual, only with Dux kicking off the fight this time. Now, as you can see, Selma is a bit unfortunately placed, which severely hinders her movement range, so let's move Bormin out of the way, and of course it is time for Hog Rush again. This is our 4th Hog Rush takedown of the game, by the way. An achievement is awarded at 10, so we are getting closer to that. Getting closer is also what Selma does here, unfortunately not close enough to guarantee a hit with the boomstick though. The enemy turn passes without Brother Skog being able to act, and now Selma can move close enough to use that shiny new toy of hers for the first time. 6 points of damage despite the armor. For situations like these, the boomstick is definitely the weapon of choice.
Gotcha.
Dux and Bormin then do their parts, but it's not quite enough just yet. Luckily, we have one more turn.
Get your asses over here.
And there we are, the House of Bones is cleared. We collect another scope with a decent range increase, but I think it's high time to finally rescue that prisoner.
That was the last one. Now that prisoner isn't Hammon, but let's get him down. Maybe he can tell us where Hammon is.
So it is not Hammon, this much is clear, so let's see who we have here instead.
The smell of gunpowder fades. We're safe, for now. We free the prisoner. He's a stalker named Magnus, part of Hammon's team, Selma's partner. Magnus is a mutant too. Not on the outside, but on the inside. He's got powers, mind powers. But he's not insane like the Nova Sect. He's calm, real calm, tuned into some frequency only he can hear. Magnus tells his tale. Him and Hammon were ambushed by the Nova Sect. Nova Sect heard about Hammon. Heard he could talk to machines, get machines going. So they left Magnus here to die, and took Hammon south to their hangout. They call it the Spear of Heaven. Nova Sect would make Hammon interpret the gifts of the ancients and open the gates to Eden. Whatever that means. Magnus thinks they're gonna blow up the zone and take the Ark with them. I suggest we rescue Hammon before something goes boom. Selma and Magnus agree. Even ducks.
Okay, and with that we have unlocked the Thoughtful Warrior achievement for freeing Magnus, who we can now actually use as a squad member. However, our squad size is limited to 3 characters, so someone else would have to sit out. Now I think that is a decision for the next episode, however we are not quite done here today. I mentioned that northwestern exit earlier, and that is exactly where we are going now, so that we unlock the area behind it for fast travel from the Ark and don't need to return to the House of Bones to get there. And it is still snowing as we arrive on Izza and Fala, but I think a thorough exploration of this map will have to wait until the next episode. For now, we have it unlocked, so we can return to the Ark.
My brave, fierce stalkers, you make an old man feel young. I heard of your recent exploits, and how your search for Hammon now leads to the Nova Sect's base in the south. They call it the Cathedral, but it is anything but. My brave stalkers, I pray you find Hammon in good health and return him here safely. If the Nova Sect probe Hammon's mind, well, the Nova Sect's leader, Plutonia, is obsessed with some prophesized doomsday that never comes. The end of the world isn't coming fast enough, so Plutonia wants to jumpstart Armageddon with weapons left here by the ancients. Weapons that tore this place apart. Weapons Hammon could be forced to restart. To worship the ancients is to worship death. We are the lights that never go out. We are the Ark. And you will save us all. May your search for Hammon continue in complete safety. The Ark thanks you for your service. Be well.
And with more wise words from the Elder, I think we have reached a good point to make the cut for today. We still haven't found Hammon, but I would say that we are one step closer, and with Magnus now joining our expedition, we are about to experience a new Stalker in action very soon. So, as always, I hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, then I would be very happy if you could leave a thumbs up. If you like what I'm doing and want to support me and my channel further, then go ahead and subscribe to stay up to date, grab some merch over on shop.petecomplete.com, or check out and maybe even pledge to the Pete Complete Patreon. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time. Cheers.